Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Pixel Focus Podcast, where we provide insights and updates in the world of virtual photography. I'm your host, N7 Specters, and I'm joined once again by SunOG5, who is the point person on getting these amazing guests on the show, which we'll be here a little bit later. How are you doing, Sun?
I'm feeling amazing, just like you called me. So yeah, we're doing good. I'm really glad that you decided to intro me with such a high praise. That means a lot, because usually you kind of say things to pull me down a little bit, bring me back to earth. But hey, I appreciate you.
Yeah, you're still struggling from that last episode where you're just like, what was that?
I'm just saying, I was attacked multiple times. Okay.
All right. Well, for those watching live, make sure to submit your questions in chat. For those who are new to the show, welcome to Pixel Focus. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, share on your socials. So, Sun, we have some interesting topics to cover this time around, but before we get into them, who are these two guests that you brought on board with us?
These two folks are Dom and Philip, or otherwise you may know them as GameSmith and Cop Philip. I can go ahead and say that both of these guys are probably, at least in my opinion, two of the best environmental artists when it comes to virtual photography. Honestly, I get pretty blown away when I see anything from either one of them. Dom does a fantastic job in both Cyberpunk and Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and then a lot of things that I've seen from Philip when it comes to Assassin's Creed and even Spider-Man. Like, dude, I think the last time that I saw one of his Assassin's Creed photos from Valhalla blew me away, and Dom's
insane.
Right, and Dom's Cyberpunk stuff. I mean, this guy literally got a finalist position for the environmentalist section of the Virtual Photography Awards.
Woo!
Man, I'm just trying to keep up with you guys.
Stop it. I'm just saying, these guys are absolutely awesome, and I'm so glad that they're here. Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you, man, for having us. It's really appreciated.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very kind of you to say.
Very kind.
Mine. Y'all are so freaking cool. I want to be like you when I grow up.
You're so cool, man. I want to be like you when I grow up.
Yeah, stop it.
And for those watching, check the description of the stream and just on the socials. We've linked all their Twitter profiles as well as Instagram and whatever. Make sure you give them a follow. They have some amazing stuff. When I got a few of these pictures, which I'm going to be showing you on the screen now. These are amazing, and definitely give them a follow. All that fun stuff.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. So, and 7, what we got going on today?
We actually got some great topics to cover, and one of them was your idea. So how about you start off with that one, and we can bounce to the next one after that.
I mean, we got ideas. It's our idea. Don't say it. Just
well, when we were bouncing ideas, you're like, "Hey, I can bring up this one." I was like, "Yes, go for it." So that was your idea. So go for it.
Okay, you know what? Fine, whatever. All right. So, people of the internet, we have a bit of a discussion to go about. I'm sure that a lot of y'all are probably have been harping on this yourselves, but pretty much we're going to be talking about how are game development companies, my apologies, helping virtual photography to grow as an art medium or even on a social platform as well. How are they helping for it to get the word out there that this is as acceptable of a technique for art as any other that's out there right now or has been around? So, or even if they are at all, for some companies, we're not going to really name them at this moment, but still. So, real quick, we do have a couple of positives. One of them being that more recently, Naughty Dog just announced it was a competition, correct?
Mm-hmm.
For virtual photographers. I definitely believe that,
Nice.
competition does spur inspiration and things like that. It gets people really excited to be able to
Hell
be a
yeah.
part of something like this, right?
Yeah,
And
competition brings innovation, man.
right, exactly. So just to touch on that, I mean, how do you guys think that this competition, both you, Philip, and Dom, how do you guys think that this competition might maybe help some people to start either thinking about virtual photography a little bit differently, maybe seeing it as something that they might actually want to start, or how it would actually affect virtual photography as an art medium going forward?
Okay, I'm just gonna jump in
for it.
first off, because
Go for it.
I am not familiar with this contest. So could you just
Oh, I
maybe?
thought you
Ooh,
already
okay.
knew.
No, I never shot a
Oh,
Naughty Dog game, so
wow.
I don't know. Don't follow them really
Oh,
closely.
Okay.
we have a
All
Naughty
right.
Dog
Well,
version. Oh my god.
yeah, that's hey. Well, you're learning something new today too. See, that's what this show
Oh
is
yeah.
about. It's about updates and insights. Okay.
There we
So
go.
he just got updated, and now he's about to get some insight. So
Hell yeah.
great. All right. So, like I said, Naughty Dog did recently start a competition for virtual photographers to send in their shots and everything. When do we have it pulled up as to exactly when, N7?
I can pull up the link real quick, so I'll post it in chat as well. So go ahead.
I gotcha. Yeah, for sure. But yeah,
Go.
no, they are starting that. It's going. I know that a lot of the virtual photographers that most of us know, at least in regards to the ones that are within the community, they're
Yeah.
very excited about this. There's a lot of people who have been, and it's primarily for Last of Us 2. I believe it's only for Last of Us 2. I believe,
That's correct.
considering the
Oh, okay.
So Naughty Dog just released that competition for photos for Last of Us 2. They're going to be having people send that in, and basically this is something for pretty much all of the Last of Us 2 photographers to shine, show their stuff a little bit. Maybe show how many neck muscles they got since they've been taking all those vertical shots of Ellie and all of them. So
Yeah.
They
yeah.
do. It'd be a workout.
Yep, I posted the link to the forum, so you can actually submit your work there. So you don't have to go digging through the site. I actually gave it to you right there.
You posted it where, sir?
In the YouTube chat.
You gotta be specificos. Okay. We posted it in the YouTube chat. It's there. So now everybody can go check it out while we're doing this if you would like. But yeah, with that being said though, like I said earlier, how do you guys believe that this would affect virtual photography going forward in regards to it maybe bringing more popularity to it, maybe it being something that, doesn't really do much for it? Do you guys how do you guys see it helping or not helping?
I see it. I don't know so much about it affecting VP in general as more as it's bridges a gap, if that makes sense. Like, I've definitely noticed how, especially with people like Naughty Dog, for example, like, they're so communicative with the community, as opposed to something like Avalanche with Hogwarts Legacy. And I simply 100% put that down to things like photo mode. Because having a photo mode lets people engage with the devs, and it lets the devs engage with the community. It's just so easy. Like, you see it all the time, like, especially with yourself, Son OG. Like, when you're posting the Spider-Man VP, you're tagging Yuri, you're tagging, like, Brian Intihar, or, like, the guy who plays Miles. And it's just a good way for you to open up and communicate with everyone.
Right.
And I think and that's what something that the gaming industry lacks in general is communication between devs and the community. And I think virtual photography just bridges that gap in general, really. I think it lets everyone just be chill and just understand different perspectives.
So when you say bridges the gap, do you mean bridges the gap between the company and the actual virtual
and the
photographers?
fans?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
And the fans in general, because a lot of the time you'll see, especially with The Last of Us, a lot of The Last of Us fans will follow very particular accounts.
Okay.
And then those large accounts, they then have, I don't want to say the influence, but they have the reach, maybe, to actually, go to a Naughty Dog developer and be like, hey guys, we would really appreciate this or this feature in the game or to do this. And they'll take more notice because they have a large following of fans.
Right.
Specifically The Last of Us fans. And also just because, it's, like I said, it's just easier to communicate.
Gotcha.
And I think that's the main difference in VP, and that's how it's changing the industry as a whole. It's just given that communication, and it's given more power to the people.
Gotcha. And Philip, how do you believe that this competition may or may not affect virtual photography going forward, if it does or if it doesn't?
I mean, contests in general, I think it depends a lot on the way they're done, on the way, like, what the end goal of the contest is. Because a lot of the times I kind of feel like contests are basically the community patting themselves on the back. It's always the same people who enter. It's not bringing in new people. But if the contest itself, like, has a prize, as in being featured in an article or even better in a real life exhibition, that brings new people to the community, that brings new eyes to the community, and it gives legitimacy to the practice of VP. So I don't know, like, it depends. I'm not sure what the prizes in this one particularly are, but if it's like an article that a lot of people are gonna see, or a video, even better, then I think it could bring a lot of new people into the community, or at least bring a lot of respect to the community.
Gotcha. So you're saying basically whatever the end result that maybe in this case Naughty Dog originally made for the contest, whether that be prizes that are monetary value or just prizes that are exposure value, that can be what defines whether it pushes VP in some form of legitimacy or not, right?
Yeah, basically, because if it's only the people that won the contest get something out of it, then it's not doing anything for the community, it's doing something for the people who won. But if it's like actually spreading the word, then it's like a community-based thing.
Gotcha. So what if it did both? Do you think that would maybe incentivize some people to want to start doing this kind of thing, or to actually participate the next time something like that comes around, if it does more than just one or the other?
I mean, yeah, sure, even if it does just like one of the other. It's like, it is definitely an incentive for people to participate, but I think if it's like exposure based, it does more for the community.
Gotcha. Okay. Good thoughts all around. Good thoughts all around. And Seven, what do you think? You got a stake in this, bud?
So pretty much basing off what Nash said, the other episode was, she was not a virtual photographer. I'm going to say myself, I'm not a virtual photographer myself, but seeing these amazing shots from things and go, all right, I'm willing to try out that game because these are amazing shots, and if I can play it like that, cool. So I think from just having developers promote that is definitely helping, and just getting more reach out is really nice.
Yeah, definitely. I think the main thing about VP is it just brings so many new people into it, because you see a photo from a game and someone who's never even played it will be like, holy shit, that looks incredible. I have to go and buy this. That's literally what got me into it, man. Just buying Spider-Man in 2018. Just seeing one guy's shot when it came out, and I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know games had that level of detail in it right now. And oh my god, man, yeah.
That's
So
what's up.
literally just a little bit of eye candy, boom,
Mhm.
gets you right in the industry.
Right. Yeah, man. I mean, I definitely can agree with pretty much all the points that were made here. I would definitely say that the competition, like Philip says, it really depends on what they do with it. If they decide to go the route of exposure, I definitely believe that that would help. But I do believe, even though I can't say that one is better than the other in my opinion, but I definitely believe that if you did both, it would not only incentivize people to do it, but then also provide that exposure, which then allows more people to see it so that they can all come in and maybe try it themselves. So I think, and sometimes they'll see not only the exposure of it because of something like an article, but then they'll also see, oh, for those people who are competitive, for those people who might want to actually get something out of it, they can say, if I try this out, maybe one day I could try to, enter into this. So it hits both ends if you do both. That's why, at least in my opinion, doing both would make it more of a push for the community versus just doing one or the other.
Yeah, definitely. You need to have a fine balance between, like letting new people come in and showcase their work, but also allowing, like you said, those who are more serious about it and those who are more competitive to actually, showcase their work and hopefully
Right.
maybe get something. But you don't want the big people to overshadow the new members. I think it's really important to, like, showcase these not even necessarily new VPs, but people who have been at it for years who may or may not have exposure. Or people, they're not very good on social media. I know some amazing accounts that have less than 100 followers just because they're not very good with the social media side of things. That has no effect on their actual talent whatsoever. So I think there needs to be more emphasis on these smaller accounts for sure, because they are hidden gems all throughout.
Oh, 1,000%. There's so many different accounts that are not too known that have better shots than some of these even more greater known accounts do.
That's it, exactly. And then just imagine the people, like the players who don't have social media, who just have an Xbox or a PlayStation and a Facebook account.
Right.
So I think it would be really cool as well if we can extend these competitions to other platforms, not just social media, for example. So directly have them on like the PlayStation Store.
I see what you're saying.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and that might actually help. That would be actually something that they could do in order to help push the art medium forward.
For sure. I mean, think about Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed, man. They could just, on the Ubisoft Play Store, they could have like a whole showcase of virtual photography and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, funny enough, with that article that was shown a little bit earlier, they are looking on doing more of a weekly submissions. And
oh, wow.
So we just kicked off. This is a direct quote from their blog. We've just kicked off a new weekly community spotlight for your creations called Photo Mode Mondays. To submit your photos, be considered a Photo Monday Mode Mondays. You can do via this submission form. So Naughty Dog is already jumping on the bandwagon and doing weekly submissions. So
yeah, I think Naughty Dog especially have really figured it out, and they understand that this is like a really big thing in the community now, especially on the online community.
Yeah, Philip, what with that, with that new piece of information, because that actually is a pretty big piece of information, Philip, what does that make you change, or not even change your answer, but maybe see like Naughty Dog as one of the companies that might actually be trying to do what we've been basing our topic about, pretty much?
I mean, again, it depends on the spotlight video they do. Because if it's basically just a slideshow of cool images, I mean, good. But does it really convey what VP is to somebody who's new to it who hasn't heard of it, or will they still just think it's pretty screenshots from a video game? It has to be a bit more in depth for more people to actually consider it.
Okay. And maybe I know this might be a bit more of a long-winded kind of thing, but maybe they could even say, hey, I know that not everybody is able to do this, but for the ones who are, this is just a suggestion, possibly if they do like a time-lapse video or something like that of how they made the shot, or just a rundown of how they made the shot, not even a video, but just explaining it, send in both their photo and then like either video or audio of how they did it, explaining it, or even write it down if they need it that way. Maybe that might be a help to help people understand, like, oh, this isn't just grabbing a screenshot the moment that you see something cool. This is an actual process. Maybe that might help too.
Yeah, I think that would
that?
be brilliant, because that would not only introduce new people to the concept of VP and show them that it's not just a screenshot, but it would also be a great way of sharing techniques between virtual photographers who are already established and they haven't tried stuff, and they see a video of how you did a shot and they're like, oh, maybe I should try that, and they make a melting pot of different techniques with their shots.
Okay, yeah, and maybe that's something. Maybe that's something we'll start bringing up. And in all honesty, that could even bring us to our next topic of Wired Productions. Basically, so what has happened with Wired Productions is that they have started a new, well, not really that their creator program is new, but they've started a new initiative to go ahead and get virtual photographers within that creator network. They just recently put out a tweet, I believe it was a few days ago, where they were asking virtual photographers to possibly join their ranks within their creator network. This, in my opinion, has actually been a big leap forward, because not to say that other companies have not gone ahead and done that, not to say that they haven't brought people on, but at least from what I've seen from a few people, this is not a normal thing where they're actively looking for specifically virtual photographers. And with that being said, maybe in the future, something where people are explaining their shots and everything like that to, and they have that within the creator program or creator programs, they can go ahead and do that kind of thing to spread the word about it. And I do believe that once you get into that place, since you have more of a platform to talk with game developers and everything like that, once you're in that, it might allow for that conversation, that kind of topic to come up where, other virtual photographers can actually give those ideas out so that this can grow. How do you guys agree, disagree?
I agree for the most part.
Okay.
I think I'm still a little bit skeptic on it, just because I've seen a few. I mean, look, it's a brilliant idea, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I just think that you can easily get locked into it. For example, in a few weeks, who's to say that? I mean, look, they're a very small indie company at the moment, and they've done some incredible games like Deliver Us the Moon, such a brilliant game.
Yeah.
But what's the stipulation for this? Like, will you be locked into just creating content for them? Will they drop you if you start maining another game? These are just little questions that I have. But I think overall, in general, it's an incredible opportunity because, like you said, it allows, just straight up communication again. It allows way more people to get involved that in games that they necessarily wouldn't usually play or get into.
Right.
I don't know. It's a very strange one, in a good way, if that makes it, because it's so. No one saw this coming at all.
Right.
And like I said, no one has ever gone out and specifically looked for VPs to just be like, if we want you a part of our program. That's it doesn't happen. It's usually people will go to the company and be like, I really love you guys. I was wondering if, maybe you could sponsor a video or whatever.
Right.
And it's only when you get really big when companies actually come to you.
Right.
So for this to just reverse and 180 on us and have a company come to everyone at once and be like, hey, we really want all of you. We don't care who you are, how many followers you got. Just, come at us. I think it's ballsy as fuck, and I'm here for it.
He said, "I think it's ballsy."
Yeah, I just wanted to put a little.
Ballsy.
Yeah, I wanted to do a little side note that, Son, you actually got into the program. Is that correct?
This is true.
He
I
did.
did get to become a part of the Wire Productions program, and guess what? Our boy Philip did too. Let's go, Philip.
Let's go.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, don't say maybe. You know you did. You were part of it now. You have to say yes.
Yes.
See, there it is.
Is this
Wire
like
Productions,
one
you
of
don't
those
have to
things
get
where it's
this, man.
like you can't deny being a cop if someone asks?
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly. You can't deny it. You can't deny it. You got in, and guess what? They're probably going to listen to this. So, Philip, I saved you. You're welcome.
That's a terrifying thought. But yeah, to address some of the concerns you had with the program, I don't think I saw any demands being made on their part for what we're supposed to do. Like both their key requests and the conditions for you to actually join the collective were very loose. We didn't have to have games from them, shots from their games. We all applied with shots that were AAA stuff.
That's incredible. That's a really positive sign, because there'll be so many companies that would be like, you must have played some of our games in the past, or whatever. And for these, because I know it'll be more of a publishing company as well, if I'm correct. That's incredible.
Really
that's really good.
And
I mean,
honestly, No, go ahead.
I wanted to apply for Wired before, a week before they put out the tweet, and I was super happy to see the tweet that I could apply with games that are not theirs.
Right. Yeah. And honestly, to even help with the concerns further, there are a few wire production creators that are within the VP community, and they have not had to make it like their main game. They have taken shots, of course. They've shown off content from it for sure. They've done, some of them have even done videos for things of that sort and everything like that. Obviously, you want to, be a part of it. You signed up for it, right? But they have not actually made, even prior to this happening, these content creators forcefully, have to do, okay, this is the only thing that you can do, or you can only do so much of something else. Like they haven't done that. So.
Exactly. I mean, that is kind of a concern, is like the pushing content, being like, okay, now you're a Wired creator, we really want you to start like upselling our merch, and it's like, that's not what people signed up for, bro. But they're not doing that, which is incredible, and I hope it stays. I think they're future-proofing themselves. I think they realize that virtual photography is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, and they are also an up-and-coming development company. I think they've just put 2 and 2 together and like, hey, if we can get a load of these photographers in on the ground floor, then in 5, 10, 15 years, when we've got our first AAA game coming out, boom, content everywhere.
Right. And see, that's the other thing, right? Is that with this being where it's at right now it's at a kind of at a low boil, right? That's where VP kind of is at the moment. It's popping, but it's not to the point where you can actually, have somebody throw their ads on top of it just yet, because not everybody's looking at it right now. So for them to get in so early on in the game, in my opinion, super smart. Super duper smart.
Oh, it's genius. Genius. Yeah. And whoever that marketing person is, beautiful.
And honestly, with that being said, I do believe that this kind of push, these kind of things that maybe other game developers might start to adopt themselves into their creator programs. I wanted to ask in 7.
Insomniac, please.
I'd love that. Don't get me wrong. Please, yes. Also, what Dom said, please. Hey, you know some of us already, but let's do it. Let's go. Why not? Come on. But
Yep.
yeah. But in 7, I did want to ask you though. Considering the fact that you aren't a heavy virtual photographer yourself, how do you kind of view this program and how Wired Productions are running it? How do you view that from a little bit outside of the community? Do you think that maybe it's something that would make some people who want to become virtual photographers look at it as like, oh, this can be more than just taking a shot. I can actually like do something with this? Because I definitely believe a lot of people who have either started it or thought about starting it, not everybody's so supportive of it because they don't think that there's any kind of end goal. So do you think this might bring something sort of an end goal for people trying to join?
That's a great question, and I'm getting flashbacks, literally flashbacks to it was in my college dorm, and I found this program called Justin TV, and I saw this someone streaming on this platform, and I was like, okay, that's cool. That was soda popping, and look where he is now. Lots, thousands of viewers, and he's pretty much living the life. But he was on a small platform, Justin TV, that no longer exists. It's now Twitch.tv, because it got merged.
Yep.
But
right.
That's why I feel like virtual photography is going. Is that it's great that this company is seeing the future, which is I think it's really cool. They're seeing the future. They're not in the here and now, and I feel that they are heads of the game, and I think it's really cool. Yeah.
That's it. I think you're spot on, especially when games nowadays, technically and like graphically, are just next level. Especially now we've got games like Unrecorded coming out on Steam, which is it literally just looks like the real world. You cannot tell the difference. So I think they're really smart move to come in early.
And Philip, how do you fare on this?
On them being ahead of the game?
Yeah, if you even think that they are.
I mean, they clearly are. I don't remember any time before this where a company was looking specifically for VPs.
Right.
And I think it's just, I don't know, it's brought them a lot of goodwill. It's also brought up a bit of complaining as well from some parties.
There are going to be people who are going to complain.
Yeah,
That's
there's always going to be somebody who's going to have an issue with something.
Oh, 100%. I mean, hey, look, even a couple of my friends, I told them about this, and they even asked, they said that it sounds like a good way for them to not have to hire any artists. And I was like, what do you mean? And they said, well, think about it. They have a load of virtual photographers making free content for them. Why do they need a concept artist, for example? Why would they need an in-game capture artist? You've got a good point there, but I don't think that's their goal. I think the goal is just to get exposure.
And I mean,
think it's also a good way to expose us as well. So,
I definitely think that while that may be true in some cases for some companies, I'm not necessarily saying one or the other will look at it or view it that way. I'm not saying anybody is viewing it that way, but that is a very
small.
But it's a very short-termed way of thinking about it, because ultimately what's going to happen, at least from how I'm seeing it, is that this is pushing virtual photography forward, and it's very much bringing it to the forefront. Regardless of how it happens, is bringing it to the forefront. And with that happening, a lot of these virtual photographers are going to start having many more people on their platforms, which means that ads are going to start happening because they're going to be eligible for it. And once that starts happening, then their streams are going to grow, their posts are going to grow, all these things are going to grow. They're going to actually already be making monetary value. But guess what? These people will start to see like, hey, because of that, I don't know which company might see it this way, but other companies, regardless of if it's a game company or not, they're going to start wanting to have ads on there because there's so much traffic coming to that one person's area.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
For sure. 100%.
Also,
I think that's a natural evolution anyway. That's how it's going to go,
Yeah, and Philip, what were you saying? Oh, sorry.
I was saying, can I go?
Yeah, go.
Okay, cool. I was saying that it's a win-win situation for both the company and VP in terms of like artistic production as well, because out of all the games, I think indies are the ones who stand to gain most with VP, because they don't have like excessive marketing budgets, they don't have excessive player bases, and us bringing eyes to the games is definitely a win for them. But it's also a win for VP as a medium, because indies are like super underrepresented in the community.
Right.
And like the community kind of focuses on photorealistic virtual photography, whereas indies are usually stylized. I mean, you clearly do have realistic titles in their catalog, but still. And I think this is going to bring like a lot of diversity in the types of captures we see in the community.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And real quick, all those people who are either new virtual photographers or people who just might be interested, let us know, yes or no, would some of the topics that we're talking about, do you believe that this would make you want to start virtual photography, maybe get in on what's going on in the community, what's happening at this very moment? Because like we've mentioned before, it's growing. And we're really not sure as to how far it's about to go, but it doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon. So do you think that this is making you want to or not want to join? Say yes or no in the comments.
Join us.
Oh, sorry.
Go for it.
Okay, I think it's like a great opportunity for people to get into it, because I think it's probably one of the most accessible forms of content creation out there.
It's very true. Yeah.
And clearly it is sought after now. So people, I think, are going to be interested in that.
Right. One nice thing about it is that it doesn't require a capture card, doesn't require $1,000 PC setup to do anything. You can literally upload it from your console and start growing from there.
I was just going to say, especially now with the whole like gaps in technology like considerably closing much, especially between like PC and PS5 and like the new Xboxes. Like so many times you get comments saying like, like what PC do you use? What setup do you have? And it's like, bro, I just use a PlayStation. Like, I don't need a $2,000 PC. Like, I just have a $500 console, and it's oftentimes better results.
Exactly.
So yeah, like you say, it's so excessive. It's so, what's the word? Oh my god, I blanked. What's the word that you just said?
It's all good. Accessible.
It's so accessible to everybody now. But I think even 13, 14-year-olds who are gaming for the first time can easily get in on it.
And that's actually a really funny thing that you mentioned, because there are a lot of younger virtual photographers here too. And in all honesty, they're ranging of all ages. I mean,
for sure.
You know what? They're ranging of all ages, creeds, Hey,
we're not even talking even young. Like, there's a lot of people who are like 50, 60. I've even met a 72-year-old virtual photographer, and that's like, holy shit.
And it's, I wouldn't even say that it's like a particular demographic, because the thing is that it really is, you almost never know who's behind the camera. You really don't. And I think that's pretty amazing that with game companies at least doing what they have shown to do now, it might make someone else may have never thought to do something like this join into it. You know what I mean? And I think that would be
100%.
really cool. And now, I definitely believe that having that kind of demographic where it's everybody, it doesn't matter who you are. And you know what? Just because you guys wanted to bring this up, Jack Quaid, okay? I'm just going to say it. I'm dropping the name.
Yes, we did it.
I knew you guys wanted this. Whatever. That dude, he is an actor from The Boys. He's one of the main actors. I forgot exactly who he plays, but you can look it up if you really need to.
Huey.
Okay, that dude. So
that guy, the main
Jack
guy.
Quaid was being talked about on the red carpet by the actress who played Starlight.
Yep, I saw that.
She was commenting on the fact that he, in her words, her exact words, is he's like a photographer in the game. That's exactly what she said. And she said she was so impressed by it that it made her start to want to start playing video games in general. She never really played them ever before. So seeing that, it's like, it's literally everybody. It doesn't matter what you're doing, who you are, where you've been, what you came from. Everybody's getting into this. And for some game companies to start pushing different incentives, different programs, and all these, other things to push that, I think that would be a fantastic way to get virtual photography to blow up as big as something like streaming or becoming a YouTuber or some other way of I'm not going to mention that word. I was going to say AR, but we're not going to talk about that because I know that's a really big, it's a sore topic for everybody in the virtual photography world. So we're not going to talk too much on that one. But yeah.
Not in this episode.
Right, not in this episode. Maybe another episode. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool. But do we have any questions maybe in the comments right now?
Yes, we actually do. So it's more question, but also compliment. So it's I'll just read the whole thing. This is from Ultravioletra. Hey dudes, Dom, how does it feel to have your VP featured in the awards? And also, Philip, I adore your VP and aspire to have your photographer's eye. Then there's another question inside it. What is your favorite process, taking a picture or editing? Which is funny because that's typically my question. So, Violetra, you took my question. I usually ask the guests, but yeah, so there's two questions. So we'll start with, how do you feel featured in the awards?
It's very humbling, for starters, especially when you really are looking through the finalists and every single one there are people who less than a year ago, these were the people I looked up to, and now it's like I'm a peer and I'm kind of like with them on the same level. It's insane. I mean, even now I'm sweating just thinking about it because it's like, holy shit. Like the pure talent that came out of the VP Awards this year was just staggering. It was insane. And I'm just so thankful just to even be able to call myself like someone who, a finalist. I think that's insane. Right. I can't get over it, man. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Fuck yeah, man. Here's to 2024. I can't wait for this year's VP Awards, It's going to be insane.
All right. And the next question, this is for the both of you. What is your favorite process of taking a VP shot, taking a picture, or editing?
Philip, let's start with you, bud.
Okay, sure. I'm someone who is very big on editing. I love editing. Editing is definitely my favorite part of the process. But it's like, I can explain it like this. Taking a photo is basically seeing the potential, and then editing it is like seeing all the pieces come together. So I just love editing, and like it makes the shot come alive for me, and I really enjoy that.
Nice.
Super awesome. And you, Dom?
Process for it. So the process tends to be a lot of twerking my neck left and right.
Big necks unite, right?
Yeah, a lot of painkillers.
You gotta start, bro. You gotta start them workouts on your neck.
This is a workout on my neck, man. I'm doing it all day.
But I mean, did you hear in the last couple of episodes? We've been talking about this, bro. You got to pay attention. We've been
You
talking
found the
about
magic formula.
Hey, to be fair, I'm actually thinking about streaming to my phone. So then every time I go into photo mode, I can literally just turn the screen vertical on my phone, so I don't actually have to do that. But then I'm like, yeah, maybe that's just me being a wuss. Maybe you need to do it. But no, processing. Mainly, yeah, it's just I kind of just spend 5 or 10 minutes framing it upright, making sure it's all nice and symmetrical. Usually, hopefully, then it's just a case of going on Snapseed. Really, I'll be honest with you. Bianca kind of got me into it, and since then, it's just all Snapseed all day, man. You can just do everything. You can change the structure, so you can for example, I do a lot of architecture stuff. And you'll have a lot of different textures on a brick wall, for example. Especially in Cyberpunk, if it's raining, you'll have the wet texture, but then you'll have the brick, then you'll have the reflection from whatever light source is going on. Then you may have another layer of texture being the grit and the dirt, and then another one which could be graffiti on the wall. So there's this slider on Snapseed called Structure, I believe it is. And you literally just ride it all the way 100%, and everything just pops, man. It just becomes super 4K, cinematic, awesome. So it's a little cheap, but yeah, I love Snapseed. So that's mainly my main source of editing.
Okay, it kind of sounds like the combination of the texture and clarity sliders on Lightroom.
Yeah, yes, it is. I think Lightroom have a very similar one called Structure.
They have clarity.
Structure or detail.
They have they have clarity and texture. Those two. That's what I was saying. It sounds kind of like a combination between the two. Now they do have a detailed tab of sharpness and a couple of other things like noise and things like that. But,
yeah, that's the one that I'm on. Yeah, so it's if you go on detail, and then if you actually go on the amount and then make it +2 or +3, you'll have optional sliders come up. One is radius, one is detail, and then one is masking. If you use the detail, that's the one that kind of brings everything and pops it all out for you. And then it's a case of after that, if you're just going into your saturation and your vibrancy and brightness and whatnot, then you do all that afterwards. So you bring out the detail and then you edit the photo.
Right.
And that's kind of how I do it. Because my whole thing is I try not to do heavy editing. I just try to highlight what the developers have made, if that makes sense. I just want to show off their worlds. I don't want to essentially make it my own world, because it's not. It's just a world that I am immersed in and I love. So if I can make the best of that then I'm happy.
For sure.
All right. We'll do one more question just due to time.
Right.
Gonna throw my standard question in for both. What's a VP style you like but don't do yourself?
Ooh.
I mean, I have a answer locked and loaded, so
ahead,
it's the simple and safe answer, and that is abstract. I think everybody it's so hard to do, but it's so compelling, and yeah, I want to be better at it. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully.
Oh, but why though?
Abstract it's really hard to do.
Oh, but why do you want to be better at it though?
Because it's not your standard picture of a character in a video game you enjoy. It's it provokes you to look a bit more into it and actually try and understand it. It's not so easily digestible, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a little bit off kilter, and it's a little bit maybe unsettling in some way, in some aspects, but it's definitely not the average thing that your eye sees. But once you put it together, it makes a very, amazing shot when you can actually piece it right.
Yeah, it's like a visual puzzle.
Okay. Yeah. What about you, Dan?
I'm really into minimalism. I think it's so it's so hard for me to do though. I'm really bad at it, but especially when you get people with like super white backgrounds, then just like one object that's like so perfectly detailed. I think it's incredible. It's so good. And yeah, especially in like 2024 when everyone's aesthetic is all sleek and clean and sexy. I think minimalism just works really well for all aesthetics.
Gotcha. That's what's up.
But how about you two? What about you? What you know? Yeah, putting you on the spot now, huh?
Yeah, they tend to do that on this show. All right. So, I would say for me, it would have to be landscapes, environments.
Nice.
That is definitely not something that I am used to. I'm used to a single subject and the environment just being an accent. So having my focus be less so on one thing and on now literally everything, it's like so different. I'm like, okay, that's a lot to be taking note of and trying to make sure looks good, and like it's so much. But I absolutely applaud all of you people, especially you two, because like I said, you two are some of the best environmental artists when it comes to VP that I've seen. But it really inspires me and puts me in awe when I can see somebody just so easily capture so much in one picture and make it so uniform. That's incredible. So I would love to be able to get to that point. And Seven, is there something that I appreciate you, dog? In Seven, is there something that maybe, I know you dabble in it, but maybe something you're more interested in trying at some point?
So I'm going to manipulate the question slightly. So the question is style. I would say game because I do not own a PS5. And so what style, I would love to get into the Spider-Man space, but I just don't own a PS5. So I enjoy it, but I would say that was my answer is Spider-Man period.
Isn't Spider-Man on PC?
The first one.
2018.
But he wants to get Spider-Man too.
Yeah.
Oh, get a PlayStation, bro.
Down the road. But yeah, as I said, I manipulated the question just a little bit, but I would just say just Spider-Man in general.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, we are going to be wrapping up the episode there, so we'll start with Philip first, and then Dom next. Go ahead and shout yourself out. Where can people find you so they can look at these amazing photos you upload?
Okay, I mostly use Twitter, and you can find me at cop_Philip, and also on Instagram, but add a VP at the end of that, and that's me.
Cool. Mainly again just on Twitter, GameSmithVP. I'm also on Instagram as dom.smith146. But I don't really use that much, so just get on me on Twitter, guys. Come on, if you're not on Twitter, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate you two taking time out of your day, especially on a weekend, to come out on this show. Son, do you have any final thoughts? Oh, amazing. Did his microphone
Incredible
die?
final thoughts.
Oh, no.
If he doesn't, I'm just going to say thank you very much for having me. It was very fun.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was really nice to finally put a voice to the name, I guess.
Yeah. I think I saw one of you actually in chat a few times. I was like, oh, so that's that person. So it's cool being able to actually, as you said, put the voice to the name and all that. So we are, unfortunately, Sun is not coming back.
Oof.
Probably. Okay, let me see something real quick. I'm just gonna type
He's
something.
got perfect timing.
Oh no. Okay. Well. Well, he'll come back in the interim. So we are Pixel Focus, providing you insights and updates into the world of
Wait,
virtual.
I'm
You're back! Yay! He's
Hello?
back.
What? What? Where did I go?
Where did
We
you
couldn't
go?
hear you. We couldn't hear you at all.
I was here.
Nope.
You know what? Screw it.
We did
You know what?
hear.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm still here. We in this. We doing this. This is Pixel. This is. I can't even talk right now. Anyway, I'm gonna say it anyway. This is Pixel Focus Podcast. You know where we come. You know where we go. You know what we do. Insights and updates. Let's go.
Thick necks unite.
Thick necks unite.
All right. Catch you guys later.